Hi, I'm Danny Ramos, and welcome to Hispanic Speak Out. And like I mentioned yesterday, Jose Miranda and I, Danny Ramos, are doing an experiment where we're going to be broadcasting a 15-minute news broadcast every single day on Facebook, which will give us a feeling of providing very current discussion and commentary, information about what's happening in our community. And again, I'm Puerto Rican, Jose's Puerto Rican. We give our perspective from our backgrounds, our cultural backgrounds, but also we're both New Yorkers. Jose is a 20-year veteran of the police force in New York, so he's seen a lot of what's going on in the communities right now across the United States. He's actually participated in that as a police officer, and he gives an invaluable opinion on those situations based upon 2 decades of experience as a police officer and being in the street. So Jose, let's talk a little bit about, we talked yesterday about the situation having to do with, will they really defund the police departments? Are they really going? Minneapolis voted to eliminate their police department.
Yeah.
Will they really do that?
No. I think what they're trying to do, they're going to have to try to address the bad apples, the bad actors, the people at the center.
Is that because of training, or is it because of what? Or is it because these guys just get authoritative and nasty over time?
Well,
some of them.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, some of it is the wear and tear. It's like the concept is, and forgive me the concept, but if you deal with you're a garbage man and deal with garbage every day. You get up in the morning and say, "What are you going to do today, Dad?" "I'm going to go get the garbage."
Yeah.
You develop a mentality a one-way mentality of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
The other is, in a lot of departments, perhaps the training is not as daily or as often or frequency as it should be. I think there should be mental health training or checkups on officers every 6 months or so, to check where their mental status is, because you can become unhinged because the pressure of the job. Okay, they're human beings just like everybody else. If you see enough people getting killed, or you see enough children getting hurt, you develop an attitude.
Yeah, it's like when the Pulse situation happened.
Right.
All of those police officers had to go into psychological reevaluation.
Right.
Because the massacre was so extensive and so gross. It's something that stays with you for your lifetime and affects how you police.
Right, PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's important. But I think what they're saying is, we have some bad actors. We have to get some professional people in there. We have to develop a connection with the neighborhood. So we're going to have to rotate those officers out. If they're not going to be outright fired or retrained in some fashion, do like dominoes. You have to mix up the deck, mix them all up all over the place. Have some psychological training, have some people come in, teach them how to be sensitive and stuff like that. Not to say that you want to neuter them, okay, because you need a certain type of person to become an officer, okay, because you don't want somebody who's flaky coming to assist you. It's not about, it's a great concept. "Gee, John, why don't you put that gun away? Because you're going to hurt somebody."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Same thing. Nobody invites a police officer to a birthday party. Okay. They invite you to break up the party.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's a conceptual concept of what's going on. And so you have to develop the type of officer that can roll with the punches, train right, in order to get something good out of it.
Well, I would think that, when I worked in New York and I worked for a lot of major corporations, I did diversity training. Mm-hmm. And what it was basically is classes given to corporate executives on how to deal and respect different cultures that are not your own. In other words, you react instinctively because of who you are, but that doesn't mean that who you are is how you should react to someone else of a different culture. In Spanish, there are some words in Mexico that are curse words in Puerto Rican.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you using a certain word from the Puerto Rican culture and you're insulting somebody in the Mexican culture.
Right.
So behavioral is also that way.
Yeah, no,
so you have to have sensitivity training of the environment of the community.
In New York City, they do that. But I will point out to you the pictures that depict police brutality. you saw guys that looked like they were 300 pounds, totally out of shape, wearing white shirts, which means they were supervisors of some sort. Office people, not street people, who were given a baton and told, go out, go forth, young man.
Yeah.
And they did go forth. And they beat the Jesus out of people. These people shouldn't be on the street. They're not trained. Once you become an office mouse, you stay that way, and you forget the training. All officers, regardless of rank, no matter how high or how low, should be trained exactly the same.
I think that the training situation, it should be monthly. In other words, there should be a monthly situation where people vent and express what they experienced during that month, so that they can.
That's not feasible all the time, but I say at least 6 months.
Well, 6 months is a long time. I think that
depends on the number of the force.
Well, you have to spend the money on it. You have to do it. You got to spend the money on it.
42,000 cops, let's say New York City.
Yeah.
How do you rotate them through training?
It has to be done by precinct, and you have to have people that do that training go precinct to precinct. Yeah. And okay,
But it's not going to be. You can't do it every month. That's where the numbers won't allow you to do it.
Yeah.
A month.
Well, you got how many officers in New York?
42.
That's a lot of police officers. Another thing that happened is, why did this happen? This explosion. Besides the fact that you get a lot of people that are thieves that'll take advantage of a situation like this. But there's absolutely no question that our society as a whole, and we've talked about this, needs people to work at the lower end. Okay? We need people to make minimum wage. Those people that are working in 7-Eleven, God bless them, because I go to a 7-Eleven late at night, there's always somebody behind the counter, that is making $8 an hour. So the question is, they can't get out. They're stuck and they can't get out because they need that $8 an hour or $9 an hour in some cases when they get promoted to survive. So they cannot afford to go to college. They can't afford to take the time out. So there is no way out for these people. But our society needs people at that level, or else our society doesn't function.
We have them called college graduates.
Okay. Well, they work in the fast food chains too. So you need people running fast food chains, but you have to give them the out. All of these major corporations have to provide people with the opportunity as part of their responsibility to move up the ladder, to get out, to be able to improve themselves. Or else you have a society that's stuck looking at TV saying, hey, I wish I could afford that Toyota, and I can't afford that Toyota.
And it's exactly what's happening because we have medical issues, we have housing issues, okay, we have educational issues, we have hereditary issues that are not being met. The amount of money that's being spent in neighborhoods. This is
part of the system of capitalism, because capitalism by nature is driven by profit. Profit by nature, by the structure of the corporations, is quarterly. In other words, the president of a major corporation cannot afford, if he wants to say president of a major corporation, to have a bad quarter. So he does whatever he has to do in order to maintain that profit, or else his stockholders are going to say, you're out.
But this is what caused the fuse to be lit, okay? All these things, all this buildup, where you have a coronavirus where 29% of those being affected are minorities, okay? Compared to 20% of non-African Americans, okay? That's what lit the fuse.
Yeah, the coronavirus is affecting, and a lot of the first line workers are all minorities. The nurses, the support staff, the drivers, the ambulance, the caretakers, all of those people are mostly Hispanic and Black, that are on that first line, and they're most affected by the problem.
Down to the pizza delivery guy who delivers at the hospital, he's also a minority.
Yeah.
Okay. The guys who own it, those, so on.
So there's got to be an adjustment across the entire society.
Right.
I don't know how people exist on Social Security. You get a person who's worked all of their lives on minimum wage, supporting Burger King, supporting McDonald's, and they've been a loyal employee of Burger King for 20 years or whatever it is, 40 years. They've been working in our society all of their lifetime at a task that possibly nobody else wants, you know. And then when they get to retire, they have this little retirement check that they can't even buy food with.
And a certificate of job well
done. Job well done. And, you know, we're gonna give you $500 a month, you know, to live off in your old age. You know, we have to go through some major changes in our society, and it requires a lot of capitalism is a hard word. We need soft capitalism. We need capitalism that recognizes its social responsibility to its communities. I'm talking about a combination where if you help people, they will work harder for you. You know what I mean? They'll be more loyal. They'll look to support you. So there's got to be a close-knit society where our society is pulling apart. I heard Mario Cuomo, and we're going to run out. We got 2 minutes left. I heard Mario Cuomo this morning, Andrew Cuomo, and I knew his dad because I did work for his father a long time ago in New York, which was Mario Cuomo. This is Andrew Cuomo as governor, and he made a statement that I just turned around and I was like, what? And the statement that he made was that there is a major disparity, and part of the root problems is education. Okay? And he said that wealthy neighborhoods, the state and government invest $36,000 in one student per year. In poor neighborhoods, they spend $13,000 per year. All of a sudden, Cuomo gets a revelation about that? He's been governor of the state of New York for 10 years. So why all of a sudden is he playing to the crowd? He's playing to the minority sensitivity when he's been governor for 10 years. I like Mario Cuomo. I think he's a great speaker. I think he's great. And there's a lot of things that I like about him, with the exception of abortion. But this kind of thing where he's been governor for 10 years and he didn't look at that, and all of a sudden now, because cities are burning, he comes out with this statement. There's a lot of politicians now, all of a sudden they become enlightened when they've known about it. They've known about this. Maybe they did. It's going on in Florida. Maybe they didn't recognize it before, but they read it in reports. How can you be governor of a state and not see that this kid is getting $36,000 and this black kid or Spanish kid is only getting $13,000? All right, so that's about $50,000, right? Let's split it in half, 25 and 25. And if parents who are rich want to amplify that, let them take it out of their own pocket, but not $36,000 for wealthy neighborhoods and $13,000. That's an abomination. Sure. You know, it's really the cause of what's happening here because we're not educating properly. And educating is socialization. When you educate kids properly and give them the opportunity, they don't want it. You know, you give a kid an opportunity to buy a car and to get credit and all of that, they're not going to disrupt. It's when you're blocking them that they're going to disrupt, you know? So there's major social changes that are going on, but I'm shocked that politicians, all of a sudden, the light goes on. And they've been in charge.
It's called re-election.
Yeah, well, that's the point. If this wasn't an election year, how different would it be? You know, all of these guys are running for election. You know, you and I get calls all the time from politicians, and all of a sudden, you know, this guy wouldn't call you or give you the time of day last year. And now all of a sudden, he's your buddy. Well, this is Danny Ramos and Jose Miranda on the Ramos Miranda Report on every day at 5 p.m. on Facebook and social media. We'll see you later.